Hello, friends and colleagues. I am extremely excited to meet with you today. I am going through the part one of my series that I plan to do weekly. I don't know how many parts it's going to be yet because it is a huge topic and it's also a passion of mine. So I'm excited to walk you through each piece of how to create a great website. I'm calling it the anatomy of a great website specifically for your massage business. And this will be part one, where we talk about target market, branding, and making sure that you're focusing on the goal of each page for your website. Let's see. So this week we'll be covering those topics, and next week we will be covering how to choose the platform to build your website on that will give you the best performance, which is really important these days to make sure that you show up in search results. And one of the things that search engines look at is how well is your site performing both on your desktop and tablet and mobile. All right, so let's jump right in. The first thing to think about when you're building your website is your client. So you want to really take some time before you start building your website or updating your website. If you already have one, that's totally okay as well. You can use these videos to go through and improve the website that you already have. I definitely am not a person who will tell you that you have to spend millions of dollars making sure that you have the perfect website or that you have to launch a website that's perfect right off the bat. It's definitely should be a living, breathing creature that's part of your business. You can think of your website like a digital storefront. So you think about your physical building where you are offering massage if you have a brick and mortar location. That is your physical space that clients come into, and you have curated the atmosphere and you have made sure that it's comfortable for them and that it's something that the clients that you really want to keep coming back will enjoy, a space that you also enjoy. Very important. If you want to think of your website as sort of a similar space but in the digital realm, so it's often the first place that many clients will come to and be introduced to your practice these days. And so it's a really important piece of the puzzle when it comes to marketing your business. If you do it well and it shows up in the top search results, it's also a free piece of marketing for you. So it's really important to spend some time investing your energy and resources into making sure that you have a great website. Again, not saying you have to spend millions of dollars, but I am saying that you should pour some resources into it to make sure that it's really great, whether that be right at launch, at when you're getting your new website out there live, or whether it be over time, which is totally great as well. You can't always have everything perfect at the first go. Sometimes it takes time to get there, and that's okay. We have to give ourselves a little bit of grace, or we'd never get anything done. Believe me, I love to have things perfect. Of course, I would even love these videos to be more polished and refined, but if I did that every time with my busy schedule, I would literally never get anything out to you. So I have to just be happy with what I can do right now, and maybe someday I'll have a team that can help me edit videos and such. But for now, you get what you get. And I hope you find some value in it, regardless of whether or not it meets my standards of perfection. And I hope that you will take the same approach with what you're creating for your clients. Enough of my soapbox. Let's move on. All right, so I have another video that is on defining and understanding your target audience for your massage business. I will link that to this video so that you can also watch it. And there's plenty of resources on my website as well for how to brand your business and how to define your target audience and so on and so forth. So you're welcome to check that out. Also, massagebusinesshelp.com. And again, I will link those things here in this YouTube video as well. All right, so we won't spend a lot of time on defining your ideal client because I have covered that elsewhere. So assuming you have chosen who is your ideal client or your target audience, those mean the same thing. And yes, you can have more than one, but ideally, if you're just starting out, you would start with one or two target audiences in mind, because it will be less overwhelming and easier for you to really get down and deep in understanding those clients and being able to speak to them. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to focus your website on a small group rather than a huge group? It's a big problem that all marketers have, all massage therapists have, which is feeling like you don't want to exclude people. Totally get it. And, it's something that I think is kind of the wishy-washy gray area of life where you kind of have to let that go a little bit and understand that even if you're speaking to a specific group, that doesn't mean that people who are right for your services will be excluded. If they resonate with something that you're saying or with your work, or even through word of mouth they find you, then they'll still become your clients and that they'll still be right for you. But it's much easier to craft a message and to design with a smaller group in mind than to try to craft a message that will really speak to everyone. So I'm sure we've all seen different marketing materials that we felt really spoke to us, that you could see, yes, this is something that's for me. I definitely am the right person for this business. And I'm sure you've seen marketing materials where you thought, that's not me. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not even paying attention to that, even if that was subconsciously. So what we're trying to do with your website and marketing materials generally is make sure that you're really honing in on the people that you most want to work with, that your services are most right for, so that you can craft messaging that really speaks to them, that, hits them right away, which will be less effort and work to get those right people in the door for you generally. If you really think about it, how many regular clients do you need to fill your massage books? Even if you have people who work for you whose books you're trying to fill, really, when you think about it, for most massage therapists, it's not that many people, if they're coming back regularly, that you need to fill those books. So you don't really need to reach everyone. You just need to reach your clients, your right people. And that's why crafting a messaging that's really honed in will be so helpful to you. So again, watch my video on branding and target marketing, and that should help you get a little bit more to the bottom of who's your right client if you aren't sure right now. All right. So the last piece that I'll say as far as the why goes is you'll attract the clients that are right for you. So we've all had clients, if we've been in the massage realm for a while, that it feels like we work with them, there's nothing wrong with them, but we feel a little drained by the end of it. And it's just every time they come in, we're sort of like dreading that they're coming in. Guess what? That means they're not the right client for you. And you should refer them elsewhere and open that spot for the client that you are going to feel really good about working with. We want to make sure that all of your marketing materials are driving to that end goal of getting a full book of clients that are right for you, so that you feel really fulfilled and connected to your practice and you don't get burnt out, which is such a huge problem for a massage therapist. So these are the main reasons why we want to really build a website with your ideal client in mind. Okay, how will you make sure that your website is geared towards your target audience or your ideal client? First off, you will want to define your target audience and make sure you spend some time understanding who they are, their demographics, like their age, their background, their financial status, so on and so forth. So you can do that by working through the exercises that are in the resources of my website. You can visit my YouTube video, or if you don't feel like you want to use my resources, you can use whatever resources help you do that. Some other ways to go about this, especially in regards to the website, is to do some research on the clients that you really want to target. So go to where they hang out. Look for places they might spend time online. Look at other websites that target this audience. Look at what kind of things those websites are doing that you think are working well. Search for things you think they're searching for, see what comes up in those search results, so on and so forth. Talk to your clients. If you have clients that are in your ideal category, ask them questions. Listen to what they're saying to you when they come in for appointments. Send out a survey that's anonymous and ask them the questions that you want to know. All great ways doing market research to find out what it is that your clients do when it comes to a website, when it comes to massage, what problems you can solve for them, all of that good stuff. Consider their demographics. So we'll talk about this in a second, but you really want to think about, if you tend to serve clients of an older generation, what specific things do they think about or talk about or want or need, or problems can you solve for them based on those demographics? If they're low income, that's going to make different demographics. If they're high income, that's going to make different demographics. Maybe they're, different lifestyle beliefs are going to make a difference to how you would market to them. So all of these are important things that you will want to know about the ideal client so that you can make sure that you're catering to them on your website and in your space as well. One of the most important things of understanding about your ideal clients is what problems do they have and what problem can you solve for them with your services. So what makes your services the perfect right fit for your ideal clients? For example, if you have a clientele who, let's just say they've been athletes all their lives and they're a bit older now, maybe they're retiring from sports, so they just do it more recreationally, but they have old sports injuries, like their joints in particular will be issues. Maybe that's something that you've spent a lot of time specializing in. So that would be something that you could highlight on your website, really talking about what former athletes feel in older age and how you can help them keep a healthy, active lifestyle and keep a healthy, active body as they get older, because of the way that you've specialized in, joint work. So that would be an example of something you could focus on. Important considerations when thinking about how to tailor your website to your target audience. 1, what type of words does your target audience use? You're going to want to make sure that you are speaking to them literally. And so you'll want to make sure that the language that you're using is in line with what your target audience would understand, would relate to, so on and so forth. So again, doing that research will help you here. What is most important to them? What information are they going to be looking for on your website? It's really easy to get caught up in making a website that has all the information you want to share. That's great. And I'm not saying you should not do that. But what you really want to think about with your website and what's going to make it a booking machine for you, the most effective website possible, is if you make the website what your clients are looking for specifically. So really getting into, brainstorming session about the most important things to my clients are going to be: 1, how do they book with me? 2, how do they contact me? 3, what do I offer? 4, how does it help them? 5, what are other clients saying about it? That may not be it for your clients, but those are some examples. And then thinking about how can you highlight the most important items on your site. So we'll talk about this later, but for search engine optimization purposes, you're going to need a lot more content on your site than most clients will ever read. So it's going to be important to make sure that your site really calls out the most important things for your ideal clientele. The next thing, which I sort of mentioned before, is using imagery that your ideal clients can relate to. So obviously, if you were catering to an older former athlete demographic, you wouldn't want to use, people sitting at a desk doing nothing. You wouldn't want to use younger athletes. Maybe you would in a progressive sort of way, but that wouldn't want to be like your main picture. People want to see themselves in what you're offering. They want to see often an ideal version of themselves. So like a super happy, healthy, active, looking good version of themselves, but they want to see themselves in your imagery, in your branding, in your words. So think about how you can represent that for your ideal clients. And again, like I said, your website should really be focused on your clients, what your clients need, making it easy for your clients. So just do a good review, have other people review your site when it's finished, and make sure that you've really done that you've reached that goal. Okay, so we've talked a lot about your target audience. We want to make sure that your brand also matches what you're trying to convey and that's relatable to your target audience as well. So for example, your branding. So first off, if you don't know what branding is, we're talking about basically like the essence of your business, your colors, your logo, your wording, your messaging, your imagery, everything that captures sort of like the visual presence of your business. So for example, like for older generations, you would want to use something like, depending on the generation, like older generations, there's a lot of sub audiences in an older generation. So maybe one older generation subcategory, these wouldn't be exactly the right parameters for, but we'll just kind of go broadly. An older generation, you might want to use more traditional layout and colors, like what people would expect for a spa or a health clinic. You would want it to be very simple and straightforward, easy to follow, easy to navigate. You want to basically have information conveyed in a way that's like problem one equals solution one. The typography, the actual lettering, you'll want to have it be, very big, bold, easy to read, easy to follow, simple. No cursive, text that's hard to read. You want to make sure your website's accessible. So like the contrast between your words and the background is very easy to follow. And there's nothing sort of blending together. So it's like you have to kind of squint to make out what it is. And then colors, simple, muted, again, what you would expect from a healthcare professional or a spa professional. In contrast to that, younger generations really care about lifestyle brands. They want to feel really connected to something larger than themselves, and they want to know how you're going to impact the bigger picture. How do you impact their life? How do you bring value to their world? How are you bringing value to the community? How are you bringing value generally to the entire world? How do you fit into the bigger picture of the lifestyle that they're trying to create for themselves? So you might not want to focus so much on modalities or maybe like problem one equals solution one. You probably want to talk a bit more about how you kind of fit into what their values for themselves and their lives are. Probably want to be a bit more fun and creative, but also sophisticated depending on the demographic that you're serving. And colors, they can be more simple and muted still. That's totally fine. But depending on the demographic you have, you might be able to go a little bit more bright, fun, creative with it. So again, doing some research on websites that cater to your demographic and also thinking and knowing your demographic, your target audience, your ideal client is going to really help you here. Another thing to think about, and this goes for all demographics, is your logo should not be too complicated. You want it to be something very simple and memorable. Even just a simple text logo is fine. If you're going to use some kind of icon or graphic, just keep it simple. You want it to be something that people can easily see and remember in their minds. Okay, we're getting to the end. All right, so our final topic is the setting your website goals. So you definitely want to make sure that your clients understand what it is that you want them to do on each page of your website, not just the homepage. A lot of people neglect the other pages on their site, but as we'll talk about later, every single page has the ability to rank on its own within search engines for the topic of that particular page. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the series. But for today, just keep in mind that you want every single page of your website to have a goal. Some examples of what those goals are book online. You want them to call you. You want them to email you. You want them to text you, buy something. so on and so forth. Whatever it is that you want them to do, you want to make sure it's very clear and that it's not super cluttered or there's a bunch of different things that you're asking people to do on each page. You want to make sure it's just super clear what you would like people to do on your website. And I'm going to show you some examples of some sites that maybe you'll be able to kind of give a guess of who it is they're speaking to. So I don't have any stake in these sites. I just picked them randomly from, different things. They're not all perfect. I'm not saying that. It's just that I think they're doing some things well. So this site is about basically glucose measurements, as you can tell, and you can see that their CTA, or their basically purpose of the site, the main CTA is get January, or get this product. They have another one here, sign in for people who need help, or sign in for people who have an account, or a help button down here for people who need help. But generally you can see that their main call to action is sign up. We go down a little bit further, just so you kind of have an idea of what the anatomy of a website is. They're different for each site, but for the most part, the goal is to build some trust. So they're doing that by saying they've been featured in some well-known news papers or online newspapers or whatever the case may be. And they're telling you a little bit more about their product. It's very simple. It's very to the point. It's not like too cluttered. It takes your eye exactly to what you should be looking at. Okay. Again, I'm assuming that their target client is a female for the most part. Probably in the, what would we say, like 30 to 50 age range. Again, we're building some trust. We have some reviews, more trust building. We're telling a little bit more and building some more trust with some news and showing the difference of what their product can do. Okay, so that's that one. Clear branding as well. That's another thing. We aren't all over the place with branding here. This is another site that I thought did a really good job with their target market. So there's some things probably that could be improved, but generally I think they do a pretty good job of their target market, which is clearly like people who work out, athletes, people who spend time in the gym. And then we have a web design. I really liked the very, very simple hero image, is what this first image on a website is called. So custom websites for ambitious brands. So this is really trying to speak to a certain type of company. And I think they do a really good job of calling that out. Like, I'm an ambitious brand. I want to talk to them about a new website. And then they have a clear call to action for this page. So get in touch. That's what they want you to do here. And then this one's so cute, BarkBox. Who do we think their target market is? Dogs surfing the internet? Clearly it's for dog owners and people who love their dogs a lot and want to get a monthly, goodie box for their doggies. And they have some clear CTAs, so get BarkBox here and here. So it's really easy to see what they want you to do. And I think their website is really nicely laid out for the most part. It tells you kind of everything you would need to know in a very concise way. And then finally, the thing I loved about this site is that they really honed in on trying to speak to you personally. By having these little cards with, a person's name. Who knows if this is really Justin or if this is just like a generated AI photo, or maybe this is somebody who works for them. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, we have Justin's, flavor of coffee here, and it tells you a little bit about it. And, then we have Sarah's coffee and Mark's coffee. And then, of course, we have you. Anywhere you can build your own coffee as well. So I really liked that. And I think it's kind of a cool thing to maybe dive into on how we can do some of that in the massage realm. All righty. I hope that you learned a lot today from our session. And I will leave you with all of that to think about. But I do want to remind you that I'm here anytime for questions. So, as just a little recap, we talked about the importance of branding for your target audience, making sure your branding's consistent throughout your website. It's very confusing for people if your branding's all over the place. So, that kind of consistent branding is also a trust building tactic. And then making sure that you really understand and know who your target audience is and that your entire website is built for them to use easily. The last piece was setting your goals for each page and making sure that it's very clear and easy for people to do what you want them to do. In the next series, part of the series, part 2, we're going to talk about choosing the right platform. It's called content management system for your website to be built on. A lot of people build theirs on like a free, like AMTA or ABMP, I think have website builders. Some people just have a page on MassageBook. A lot of people use Weebly or Squarespace or Wix. I like to use WordPress, and I'll talk a little bit about what to look for in a great website builder platform and the importance of having something that supports excellent performance. It'll probably be a much shorter video because the topic's not as involved. But in the meantime, I hope that you can apply some of these to your current website or as you're building your new site. I also did want to call out that my team has just started offering website design and development for massage therapists. So we only build sites for massage therapists because we know massage therapists so well and we know massage clients so well. So if this is a service that you need, we can also help you with that. You can learn more about that by emailing me at massagebusinesscoach.com. You can also visit my website at massagebusinesshelp.com. And you can follow me on social if you would like. And on Instagram, it's at Massage Business Coach, or on Facebook, you can find my Facebook under Julie Campbell, or the Business of Massage Facebook under the Business of Massage. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are willing. I will continually add videos. I can't promise they'll be every week or even every month, but as soon as I'm able to bring value to you, I will. And if you ever have topics you'd love to see me talk about, please email them over. I am really excited to help you all be successful. And you can help me by letting me know what you'd like to learn about. In the meantime, I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.